Hey, what's up? This is Matt Dietz, and this is Agency Launch. This is the show where I talk about what it's like to run an insurance agency. I talk about marketing and staffing and sales and retention. And today is a little bit different. I was interviewed to be on a show called The Stack. I want to thank my man Mo for inviting me on. We talk about a lot of really good fundamental things that you should be working on in your agency. So I hope you stick around and listen. It's a little longer than my normal one, but it's very valuable. But before you start, do me a favor, send me a text to 208-213-8809 and send me the word free. I have curated a list of assets, including podcasts, YouTube channels, free downloadable assets from professionals in this space that I really trust. It's a ton of stuff that will really help you continue to build a foundation or take you to the next level. So send me the word free, 208-213-8809. I appreciate you listening, and let's get on with it.
Today we have our guest, Matt Dietz. We've got a few more people joining here, so I'll let him in. Matt has been a farmer's agent for a very long time. He's a very successful farmer's agent, and he's also a coach. So I'm bringing him on because he was my actual very first interview when I started doing webinars for the group. And since then, a lot has changed. So we're going to catch up with Matt and talk about some of those changes. And we also have a vendor spotlight on today's call. So we'll be bringing on Kenzie Scott and Steve Walter from Ricochet and Lead Stats. All right, guys. So I'm going to jump right in here. Matt, go ahead and unmute yourself, please. How have you been, brother?
Here we go. I've been good, man. Thanks for having me. It has been a while since we chatted. I can't remember when. It's been 4 years, maybe something like that. I didn't see the
2019
date.
or 2020, actually.
I feel it was COVID-ish when you
Yeah, it was
started
COVID.
doing this. Yeah,
Yep, yep.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah. A lot
couldn't
has
go out
happened.
to do the face-to-face with agents, and I found a better platform.
Yeah, yeah. It's been great. You've been helping a lot of people, so thank you.
And I appreciate that. I appreciate it. But
Yeah.
you also help a ton of people. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that, and things have changed quite a bit since 2020, 2021.
Mm-hmm.
The industry has gone through tremendous transformation, and things aren't what they used to be, right?
Right.
So I want to kind of talk a little bit, about pipeline and how to position yourself and what agencies are doing now and how to not just rely on leads and that data lead source. And you are the perfect guy for that, Matt. So let's talk about the pipeline and solving that problem for agents. How do they grow their pipeline without adding more money to leads?
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of the first problems that agency owners have to solve, or else they're not going to be agency owners for that long. I mean, you have to be able to build a pipeline because this is how we make money, right? We're commission only, so we have to sell a policy to get paid. And when I coach agents, it's generally the newer agents. It's one of the first problems that they have. Is like, how do I build a pipeline? And so the way I was taught many years ago, which is still relevant today, is you have to have multiple ways to be bringing business into your agency. My DM equated it to like fishing. He's like, if you're in a boat and you cast one line in the water, you're going to catch one fish an hour. If you have five lines in the water, you're going to catch five fish an hour. So can you build five ways to drive whatever your goal is? If you want to write 50 policies a month, can you have five systems that drive 10 policies each to your agency? And that is kind of the core of where we start. How do you build? The next question is like, well, how do you build five systems to drive 10 policies? Well, there are dozens of ways that you can drive business to your agency. Our goal is to help you determine which ones you enjoy and which ones you're good at. And if you can do that, now you're really in a good spot. But it takes some trial and error. Everyone's a little bit different. There are different ways to do it. People like to do different things. And so we try and help people determine what's best for them. So I like to use math. I was a math major when I was in college. So math is a very easy language for me.
Yeah.
Um, and so we help reverse engineer how many quotes an agency needs to do to hit their goal. right? And so it's a pretty simple equation. How much premium do you want to write? Let's just say it's 50,000. Okay, 50,000 a month.
Mhm.
And then let's say we have to determine what's your average premium per household. Let's say it's all over the map depending on where you live, right?
It's all over the
Let's
place,
just
depending
call
on your
it
state and where you are.
$3,000, okay, for every household. So you've got to write 17 households a month.
And bundle.
Okay. Right. 17,000 a month. Now you got to know what your closing ratio is. Okay. So let's say your closing ratio is 20%. Okay. So you take 17 times 5. So you got to quote 80 households a month. And then you have to divide that by 20 business days. You got to do 4 quotes a day. So we distill it down to one number. Okay. If you want to write 50,000 in premium and those were your numbers, you get 4 quotes a day. And the math never lies. If those numbers are accurate, that's what's going to happen. So if you want to write 100,000, it's 8 a day. So it's just got to know the equation. And then that's what I tell people. That's the most important number in your life for a while. You got to hit 4 quotes a day and you'll hit your goal. And that's kind of our starting point of how to, but then you got to get 4 quotes a day.
Yep. But let's talk about a little bit of a myth behind this, right? Some people think that more leads are automatically going to create growth, right? You said something very important in there. It's 4 quotes a day. Those
Right.
quotes have to be serious quotes, right? You can't just, oh, we're too much. All right, moving on, right?
No, good point. I count a quote as somebody who has agreed to get a proposal from me. So if someone says, yes, Matt, I would like a quote from you, that counts as one of those four. So there are people that are buying leads. And I've talked to an agent in this example, I talked to an agent in Indiana and he reached out to me. He says, Matt, we're not competitive. I'm not writing any business. And so we got into a conversation. I said, all right, how many quotes are you doing a day? And it was a lot. He's like, I'm leading my district in quotes. I was like, all right, what's your closing ratio? And he said, 8%. I said, okay, what is your district's closing ratio? He said 20. I said, there's a problem in your sales process then, because if your district is closing 1 out of 5 and you're closing 1 out of 12, there's a problem there. How are you presenting your quotes? Well, I get by internet leads and I send out a quote. I'm like, do you talk to these people? He said, no. And that's how we really identified. I'm like, what's the first thing people are going to look at when you email them a quote? It's the price.
That's right.
If you're higher, they're done. They're not going to talk to you, right?
Mhm.
Are we the lowest?
Absolutely.
No, we have to sell on value,
We're,
just
we're
like,
captive agents, man. We're never going to
right.
be.
Right. So what's the most important thing is the conversation. We have to have the conversation with the client. Then you got good at that. You have to get good at that part. Okay. You got to get the quotes and then you got to learn your craft. You got to
Yes.
learn the phrases to use. You got to learn. We always, you hear it all the time. I got to sell value, sell value. Of course you do. But you got to learn how to do that properly. You have to get a client to want to buy what you are presenting to them before they see the price.
Absolutely.
And then, so yeah. So we've
Well,
got to
you
diagnose
walked
where your problem is.
right into the next subject here. It's how lead generation exposes sales and process issues. So that is what you just nailed on the head there. So when you do see somebody that has this issue, what is your recommendation to them?
Well, if I was going to work with that agent who's emailing quotes out, we I tell them to stop emailing quotes out. Okay. There's so much time management is another big thing that we talk about. How we spend our time is so important because it's a non-renewable resource, right? And so if you're spending 2 hours a day emailing out quotes that aren't going to bear any fruit, we talk about how else should you be spending 2 hours a day getting more qualified leads and getting people who want to buy, who are interested in seeing what you have to offer. So we help diagnose where the gaps are in their system, and then I would tell him, don't ever email out a lead without talking to somebody. Okay. And I said, if you send out 100 proposals to people that you do not talk to, I asked him, how much time is that? Let's say he's good at quoting at this point. I'm sure he could probably do a quote 4 minutes, that's 400 minutes. That's what, 7 hours of work, almost 7 hours of work. Okay. How many people are going to call you from those 100? you know, three, maybe, right? I mean,
Seven.
maybe 3% is kind of, yeah,
Three,
three to
three to
five,
seven. That three to
3 to
seven.
7. Yeah. So can you get 7 qualified leads in 7 hours in a different way? So these are the conversations that I have with clients. Okay. Now, because you're going to save 7 hours a day or seven, you're going to save 7 hours because you're not going to be using that time quoting anymore because you're emailing out quotes. So let's just take that off the table. Now we've bought ourselves a lot of time. Let's talk about how we're going to use that time. And then again, there are a lot of different ways for us to get qualified leads.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's discuss internet leads a little bit because people have expectations when they buy internet leads, but there is a reality to it too. And it is tied to your sales process and those issues that you may be encountering getting people on the line, et cetera, et cetera. It may be something that the agent is doing that like emailing out quotes and not calling them or scheduling a time to talk to them.
Right.
Those processes have to be 100% in line when you're buying internet leads because you're paying for every lead at the end of the day,
Yeah.
right? It's not
Yeah.
just time, it's money. Right?
Absolutely.
So if you
Yeah.
have your team and you're just buying them leads and here, go. How would you expect if you couldn't do it yourself that your agent's going to start doing it, right?
Right. Yeah.
And that is an expectation that I see a lot across agents that I speak with as well.
Yep.
What would be your suggestion to those agents?
Who are spending money on leads and maybe not getting what they are expecting in return.
Yeah.
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 Um, well, they have to be real. You got to be realistic on what you're getting into. A lot of agents get into this space. They open an agency, and they're told by their district managers, they're told by their company, they're even told by their peers that like this is the only game in town. Just buy leads, and if
Buy
it's
more
not
leads.
working, they're told to what?
Buy more.
Buy more. Exactly. That sounds counterintuitive to me. Okay. So I think internet leads can absolutely be one of those 5 streams that are
Yes.
bringing policies into your agency. There's a cost per, there's an ROI for every lead source. Okay. So over time, you're going to want to find out what type of marketing is the most cost effective for your agency to drive business, and you'll want to double down on the ones that are the cheapest way to bring business in. Now, some of the ways that might be cheaper ways to bring business in might cost you more time. Okay, so for example, like I'm a big proponent of building relationships with mortgage brokers. Okay. They have to have our product. It's a formal part of their process. Mortgage broker referrals will close at like 50%, even if you're captive. Yes.
They are worth their weight in gold. And a lot of insurance agents don't know or understand that. They
Right.
always, I hear a lot of people say real estate agents, which is okay to have that relationship. That's not where you want to be. You want the loan officers. Those are the guys that are in charge of the entire package, right?
Right.
We've
Yeah,
got the product that they have to have in there or they're not closing, right?
exactly.
And if you're buddy buddy with them, oh man, it's a game changer. So I'll let you talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad you brought up the real estate agents because newer agents do tend to look at real estate agents as a stream of income or a stream of referrals. I'll tell you what, they can be, but you need to use the real estate agent to get to the mortgage lender because the real estate agent has the relationship with the mortgage lender. So you just use them as a bridge to get to the mortgage lender and say, hey, do you know any mortgage lenders? Can you get me in touch with them? I'd love to meet them. Can you get me on a 3-way text in your home? Okay, so real estate agent really has to really want to refer to you. It is not a formal part of their process. When they're showing homes, they are not talking insurance with their clients. They got to really like you. They got to really want to get that business to you, and they generally don't. They generally don't. Okay, so mortgage lenders, when mortgage lender has to ask the question, okay, and when they're sitting across from a client, who do you want to insure this house? They have to ask that question. And if that person says, I don't know anyone, I'm new to town, you need your name to come out of that mortgage lender's mouth. You need to talk to Matt. Okay. I'll have him reach out to you. Okay. Best top of the food chain is if you can earn the mortgage lender's business and become their agent. Because now they're referring their agent to someone that they're building trust with. And you want a closing ratio that's going to pop off at probably over 70%. Start insuring mortgage lenders. That's what I would tell you.
And most
So,
of my mortgage lenders are bundled with multiple homes.
yeah.
Okay? They're landlords most of the time, and they know their stuff when it comes
Yeah.
to homes,
They're in
right?
that world. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. And you said something that was pretty important in there about getting that relationship. That once you have that relationship, those trees are planted so firm that
Yep.
it takes a hurricane to move them, right?
Hmm.
Um, that relationship really is something that is very overlooked in this industry, and there's multiple ways to become a source of income from them as well.
Sure.
Okay, you have insureds that buy homes, so the quickest way I found to reciprocate for them and want them to do business with me is provide them with a way to make more money, right?
Absolutely.
I used to run ads on Facebook. That's how I made my network. I ran ads on Facebook asking people why they're renting and if they want to become homeowners. There are several programs out there. The leads that came in were dirt cheap.
Yeah.
And if you find a mortgage lender that finds value in building a pipeline and understands data leads, because at the end of the day, they're data leads,
Right.
they will put their processes on it and close business off of it. And now you've went from somebody that they're just referring business to and getting nothing out of except closing their business. And anybody can be quick and finish up a policy quick. But when you are putting an extra 7 grand a year in their pocket, if they close one deal, yeah, you're the guy.
Yeah.
You're my
Yeah.
guy, right? There's
Absolutely.
one way right there. There's also several other ways that you can become a valuable source to them, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. You obviously want to take care of the referral. Like you want to white glove that referral. You want to be quick with them. You want to be personal with them. You want to get in front of them if at all possible. And of course, you want to do what you should be doing well anyway and laying out a beautiful proposal and walking them through it in a timely fashion. You want to get the proposal or the cert back to the mortgage lender quickly. You want to be able to have the mortgage lender just check off, okay, the insurance is done, because their to-do list is a mile long. And if you can take one thing off of their list quickly and professionally, and they can trust you to do that, that's another way that you're giving value along with the products that you offer. And the trick is meeting mortgage lenders, right? They're like, I know agents are like, this is all great, man, but like, how do you meet mortgage lenders? Well, there are a lot of mortgage lenders out there. There's more than we can handle, by a long shot. So, like I said earlier, I like using my professional network to meet other people. So I will call every realtor that I know and be like, who do you use? Who do you refer to for mortgage? Let me get in front of them. If you insure a bunch of homeowners, like they all got a loan somewhere. Who did you use for mortgage lender? Can you connect me with them? And I also just want to say, meeting mortgage lenders and getting them to refer to you is kind of like dating. Okay. There needs to be some chemistry involved. And just because you get in front of 5 mortgage lenders does not mean they're going to start referring to you. I would tell you to get in front of 20 to 25 so that you can get 5 or 6 that are referring to you. So, what I tell agents in this space is just say, hey, set out 90 days, plan a 90-day project. That's 3 months. That is 12 weeks. Try and meet 2 mortgage lenders a week in person, and after 90 days, your business will be different. Okay.
Yeah.
But build the system, right? It's all system based. So 2 mortgage lenders a week, meet them, get in front of them. Then there's a whole pitch that I have on my podcast that you could dig up on how to have that conversation.
I will feature
Because,
that link in this recording for sure.
yeah, so I'll get that to you. So, but yeah, mortgage lenders, they are the alpha when it comes to referrals for
Absolutely.
us.
And
Yeah.
don't just show up at their office and stuff. Go out with them, ask them out to dinner, start a relationship.
Yeah.
It can't be a one-sided send me business because why would I?
Yeah.
Do it for me.
If you play golf, and you can get a mortgage lender on the course, you have a captive audience for 4 hours. And like,
I
not,
don't
I
play
mean,
golf.
plus you
That's
have
a great
something in
idea.
common.
Yeah,
You
that's
both
true.
golf,
That's
right?
true.
And so that's part of the deal, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, find something in common with them. And yeah, so there's a whole I've got a whole way to have that conversation. It's important. You got to know what you're doing when you roll up on these people, or else
Absolutely.
you're just dropping cards off and you're like, call me when, and that doesn't work. You can't be the guy that's dropping cards off and leaving. It doesn't work.
Absolutely. That will never ever work. And
No.
here's one before we pivot to the next subject here. Another great way, walk into Keller Williams offices. All right.
Right.
They're all real estate agents and they all know people, right? And once you walk in with a bowl of candy. This one's from Jesse Dryer. All right. Walk in with a bowl of candy. It says something catchy, has a card or a QR code on it that they can scan and get a quick quote from you. Okay.
Yes.
And go back and fill that bowl up with more candy. Say hello to everybody again.
Right.
Build the relationship. And that's exactly
Yes.
what Matt was just talking about. There's so many ways of doing it. You got to think a little bit outside the box to do it, but it's doable. It's very, very doable. And as long as you're a likable person and you know how to talk to people, you'll get business out of it. And you're not
Mhm.
spending on data leads doing it. All
Exactly.
right.
Yeah. What's the cost of all this?
Zip.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's kind of pivot here because I want to talk about newer agents. And that was a gem for newer agents in itself. But a lot of new agents have a fear of rejection, and it turns into a bigger problem, especially you're in sales, right? It's a
Yep.
much bigger problem when you start avoiding the perception of being, this guy that's always rejected, right? And if you come across as salesy, that might be the reason that you're being rejected. So you've got to really think about helping versus selling and how to position yourself as a source of knowledge, a trusted source, and somebody that's going to take care of them versus, yeah, I've got your policy price right here. What do you want to do?
Right.
Let's talk a little bit about that and help people. How do you help people get over that fear and turn from sales to help?
Yeah. So great question. This is another one of the big ones where agents struggle out of the gate. And there are a number of different reasons why people are afraid to ask for business. I'll tell you this, the agents that ask for business write more business. All right. It's a simple, it's a law of nature. Okay.
Yeah.
So first thing I want you agents to understand is like your opportunity is endless. If you look outside your window, you could sell insurance to just about anybody that's walking around out there. Okay. So uh, I don't think I try and help agents really dial in their radar to understand that they could sell to anybody. And when I learned that, it was one of the first things that I learned as an agent, and it was never really said to me before that. It gave me a like I had a huge sigh of relief. I was like, yeah, there's no shortage of prospects. Okay, we're not selling, something that's niche like, women's golf clubs where you've got to really look in specific places. We could sell something to everybody. So, can you ask a stranger for their business? And this is one of the first things that we try and talk about because it sounds scary. Of course it is. It's unnatural. There's a fear of rejection. There's a fear that you're going to look stupid. There's a fear you're going to look salesy. These are all totally common fears, but they're all in your head. All right. They're all
Yeah.
100% in your head.
But they're
And
human. They're
this
very human. So you shouldn't be down
100%.
on yourself for it.
No, no, they're all legit, because we're pack animals and we do not want to feel like we're outside of the pack. And that's why when you're afraid of rejection, our brain triggers something that will not let you walk towards that fear. It will stop you from asking the question because you don't want to be ostracized from your group. It's a human reaction. This is one of the first things that we have to get over, though. Okay. So, and it takes some time. Some people can't. Some people never get there.
But
Okay.
how
But it's
can agents ask for business naturally?
so this is this. So I teach my team to find a way to get to a room full of small business owners. There's no shortage of ways to do this, right? There are leads groups, there are after hours, there are breakfast luncheons, there are lunch and learns, there are chamber events. Get in a room full of people. First of all, if you're in a room full of people like that, Everybody in that room is in there for one reason, and it's to grow their business. We're not socializing at this point. If it's 12 o'clock on a Wednesday, people are there to do something. So, first of all, I want you to understand that if you ask somebody for business in a situation like that, it's expected. Like you should be asking people for business, and that's why you are there. Okay. The cadence I like to use is start a conversation with somebody, roll up on them, make it all about them. What do you do? Where are you from? How long you been with this company? What do you like about it? How are you getting business? How are you finding employees? Like we're small business owners, so the small talk that we can have with other small business owners will start to become more and more natural because you have problems with your business. You can talk to small, they're having the same problems you are. How are you finding good people? Who do you use to for your accounting? Like what are you doing for health insurance? Just you can just talk shop with these people. Okay. At some point, the conversation is going to flip and it's going to come back to you because they're going to start asking you questions. Oh, enough about me. Like, what do you do? And then tell them what you do, get in the conversation. You have to find the point in the conversation where you say, speaking of insurance, because you're going to tell them what you do. Okay. Speaking of insurance, who's your agent? And that's the question I like to hit them right between the eyes with. Who is your agent? Depending on how they respond, will dictate what you say next. So if they say, my brother, like you're done. You're like, that's
Obviously,
awesome. Good. Feels really nice meeting you. And then let's go find somebody else.
yeah.
Okay. So if they say I'm with Geico or Progressive, you're like, that's great. Those are good companies. They're an online company. I am like right down the street from you. Who do you want to call when you're in an accident? Who do you want to call when you're knee deep in water in your basement? Like the relationship's really important in my agency. We beat those companies on price all the time. And whenever you call our agency, you're always going to have the same people answering. So is there any reason I can't try and earn your business? And that's the second question. Is there any reason I can't give you a quote, give your proposal, earn your business? It's a little different than can I give you a quote? We never want to give somebody a reason to say no.
No, 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 no. You do not want to say, can I give you a quote?
Yeah.
Earn your business is a money line.
Yes.
Not
Is
should
there any reason I can't earn your business?
Mhm.
No,
No,
there's not any reason. So you kind of back him into this psychological corner, which is important. We have to know what phrases and what language to use to help people throughout this process. We want to turn a no into a maybe and a maybe into a yes. Like that's sales psychology, which I
absolutely. It's very important
love.
how you ask things.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, that's it. I mean, have 10 of those conversations in 1 hour. You'll walk out of there with 3 or 4 quotes. Okay.
So
That's
did we
it.
just say 4 quotes again?
4 quotes.
So we're
Yeah.
going to close one, right?
Right.
There it
Yeah.
is. A free lead, a free source for further leads. Those people know other business owners that may not even be in that room, right?
This is how we start to grow our network.
Absolutely.
And as your network grows, your job, if you do it properly, your job will become easier.
Yeah. Yeah.
My
It's never
network, I've been
easy.
doing this for 22 years. My network is huge. And if I want to write business, I go right to my network and I say, hey, do you know any plumbers? I'll call 10 people. Do you know any plumbers? Can you connect me? Do you know any restaurant owners? Can you connect me? I use my network now to get in front of other people. So your network is very important. The last thing I'll tell you about the ask is that there are a lot of opportunities that come in and out of our periphery and we don't ask. For example, we have people that come into my agency all the time marketing me. Hey, who do you use for restoration? Who do you use for glass? Who do you use for roofing? Who do you refer? Dude, if they're going to walk into my space, what do you think I'm going to ask them?
We haven't
Who's
even
your
got to
agent?
it.
Who's your agent? They're in your house, man. Like,
Yep.
ask the question. How many? Every agent should be doing this. Okay, you should be looking for opportunities everywhere. Your eyes and ears should be open for things like my son's just getting married. First thing, whenever I hear that, I'm like, okay, they're getting married, life insurance, maybe buying a house. Okay. Like there should be automatic thought responses to certain phrases that you hear out in the real world. Okay. So just
And wear
this,
your brand. That's another one.
sure.
Wear your
Yeah,
brand.
that works.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you have a shirt on that says farmers on it, people will generally sometimes ask you about it.
I've
You
had
can't be any
people
time to
sing the
go to the
jingle
store.
to me.
There it is.
Yeah.
It's sometimes so simple. But what mindset shifts create confidence in your opinion?
A winning, winning, once you start you guys, these are hard conversations to have. I'm not going to take any of that away. They're hard, but you have to do it. You have to put, because the more you do it, the easier it's going to get. And that's the way it was for me. I'm a competitive person. Um, Steve runs a company called Lead Stats, and I would want my name to be on top of that board all the time, So, but you have to understand that we are going to lose more than we're going to win. You guys, a 20% closing ratio means you're losing 4 out of 5. We have to understand that. Okay. We have to understand that we're not going to win. We're going to win 1 out of 5 or 1 out of 4, or whatever your number is going to end up being. So you have to understand that you're going to take your punches. So you got to have thick skin. You have to have a short memory, and you have to repeat the process, and you will get better at it. Once you start having these conversations and you start winning business, you'll want to do it again and again. My hope is that it becomes addictive and you just want to do it again and again and
Yeah.
again.
That
So
bind is a dopamine hit. And
100%.
yeah, absolutely, man. Let's
Yeah.
pivot again into delegation, because this is another topic that especially new agents, they get it wrong. They want to do everything and they think that they can do everything, right? And their bottom line might be a little bit more, but ultimately, what kind of agency are you building? Right.
Right.
The team is everything. I haven't run a quote in a year. And I'm finally to that point where I can go out and network and not
Yep.
have to worry about hitting my numbers for the month and stuff like that. I have a solid team and I continue to build on that solid team, but delegation is huge. So, what should
Yes.
agency owners stop doing immediately?
Oh, I could talk about this one for a while, and it's really important. So our agencies evolve over time. When you're a brand new agent, you should probably do just about everything because you need to learn how to do it well and efficiently because you're going to delegate it away. And when you delegate it away, you have to delegate it away properly, teach it properly, and then let it go. Okay. So the first thing, you said you haven't done a quote in a year. Kudos to you. That is amazing. That's one of the first things that I would encourage agents to start considering. This is a good process for any agent. Once you've got a CSR that is licensed and knows how to quote. Okay. You go out, find somebody to quote, you get their information, right? Name, birthday, driver's license number, all that stuff. You come back and you give that to your CSR. Hey, quote this up for me. They know how to quote it up because you've taught them. Okay. High limits, $1,000 deductibles, however you like to do it in your agency, they will quote it up exactly how you want it to because you've taught them how to do it. The quote's going to end up back in your email box as a PDF, or however you're going to do it. You go make the sale. Okay. It's done. It's sold. You're done. I ask the client once I close a deal, hey, when do you want Meg to call you? Okay. Meg's going to convert this for me. I'm not going to convert it. Okay. Meg's going to convert it. So, two really good things happen when you do this. So they'll say, yeah, I'm ready. Have her call me in an hour. I'll just get on the phone with Meg. Hey, Meg, call Mr. Smith in 1 hour, 2 autos, boat, umbrella, and a house. She knows, she quoted it up. She knows what it is, right? She knows Mr. Jones. So she will call him up. She'll do all this work. Okay. She'll take the payments. She'll get the e-signatures. She'll get all the docs where they need to go. And then she'll say, if you ever need anything, you call me. This removes you as the agent from this person calling you when they have a question about a bill or when they want to add a car, because they're going to go right to Meg. And the sooner you train your clients to go to your team and not to you, you're on a very good path. Okay.
That is a
So,
game changer, I tell you.
yeah, it's huge.
They're still going to
So,
ask for you, believe that. But
right,
yeah, they need to be the trusted source in your agency.
right. You want to get to a point, you want to, I tell agents, like, what do you want your role to be in your agency when it's mature? Okay. What do you want to be doing? And most agents are like, well, I like to be doing commercial and life, that's great. Great. How do you do that? You have to remove yourself from the day-to-day stuff. And that takes training and time and effort. And that's why you said, building a good team around you is paramount. You have to have good people that you trust. I forward almost all my email to Meg. And at this point, I don't even have to follow up if the work's being done because she's my ace in the hole. She does everything for me. So we talk every day, whatever, but I spend 5 to 10 minutes and that's it. The last piece of perspective that I'm going to tell an agent is like, imagine if you go to a restaurant a nice restaurant, and let's say you order a steak or something like that, and it comes back and it's not cooked right. Okay. Who are you going to talk to? You're not talking to the owner of the restaurant.
Or the chef.
Okay. They have a team in place, right? First line of defense is going to be your waiter. There's a general manager there. There's a hostess. There are people there to solve that specific problem. You need to start looking at your agency as the same way. And some people are like, oh, I need to talk to my agent. Your team is an extension of you. Okay. The service they give is because of you. It's because you taught them how to do it. And as long as they're doing a good job, your clients don't need you. I'm not telling you you shouldn't have to talk to your clients and that you need to be removed altogether. But if you want to be efficient with your time, this is the best way to do it. And delegation will be your superpower.
What are the first responsibilities an agent should delegate?
Oh gosh. So one of the first earlier things, so billing, certs, quoting, those three things can take a load off of your plates.
Mhm.
So billing and even claims, like those four things can remove a lot, from, and there are things that I don't even know, and I'll have Meg do the work for me. So if I have a client that calls up and says, "Hey, Matt, this happened to my house. Is that covered?" And it's a weird one, or something like that, I'll have Meg call a claims supervisor. Hey, Meg, this is going on. Can you call John? She knows John. She'll call the claims supervisor and she'll report back to me. Like they can do everything. They can do everything. Meg does work comp audits. Meg does commercial quoting. Meg does everything. Okay. So
How
they're
do you know when it's time to hire?
well, that's a good question. How do you know when it's time to hire?
Now, you've got Meg doing everything, right? What's the next step? How do you get to a point where you can go out and do life in commercial?
I'd like brand new agents should hire producers first, I believe, because you don't have anybody to service. Okay, so so I think brand new agents should hire a producer first. If you get a good producer on the books, I would say get another one, pretty soon. Now you got to pay attention to how much money you're making and what you're spending and things like that. Your producers should be able to write a minimum amount of business, enough for them to pay for themselves or close to it. Okay, so that's the first thing that a new agency owner should do because you don't have anyone to service. Don't hire a CSR. Okay. You might not need a CSR for a year. Okay. A good core team at about the 12 to 18 month would be you, a producer who's producing, and then you can onboard a CSR to start doing a lot of the things that we're talking about. From a service standpoint, they can do quoting for you and your producer so that they can sell more. Okay. When you onboard anybody on your team, you have to write more premium, even if it's a CSR. And I want you to think about that too. So if you're writing 40,000 as a new agent and you bring in a CSR, your goal needs to go to 60,000. Where are you going to get that 20,000? It depends on how you want to do it. Are you going to teach your CSR to cross sell and get 10,000, 15,000, 20,000? Or are they going to take so much off your plate so that you can write 20,000 more? But your number has to pop whenever you staff up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. That's great advice. All right. We're kind of coming close to the end here. We'll go for 10 more minutes, let's say.
Okay.
So let's pivot again and talk a little bit about time management, because it's usually a delegation problem, right? So what does an ideal week look like for an agency owner, in your opinion?
Again, I mean, it depends on where you are in your
Of course. So let's say
career.
you've got a first producer, you're onboarding that second producer now. What does your week look like now that you've started to delegate some of these things and you're starting to think about bringing on a CSR? Because at first, when you bring on those producers, everybody's a CSR. We're all servicing, we're all taking calls, and we're all selling, right?
Yeah.
So now that you've got a couple of people and you're starting to see numbers and you're rolling a little bit, what does your week look like and what's the next move? What habits waste the most time? Let's dig in here.
Oh, yeah, time management is really important. So we want the agents and the producers doing as much premium driving, income driving activity as possible. Okay. Yes, the first thing I do with some of my agents that I work with is I do a time audit. And I ask them to do this for 1 week. Okay, and I give it to everyone on your team, and the agent should do this too. Okay, so you have just a simple spreadsheet: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then on the 8 to 9, 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12, all the way down to 6 o'clock or whatever. And everybody gets one of these. It can be an Excel spreadsheet, Google Sheet. I don't care if it's a piece of paper. It doesn't matter. Write down what you do every hour of the day for a week. It will blow your mind on how much time is wasted. And it's not a I waste time. Okay. It's not a shot against anybody.
Yeah.
We get
No.
so distracted. We live in a wonderful time where we have so much technology and so many ways to get things done. But it's also incredibly distracting. We can get pulled in multiple different directions at any given time, and it takes us off the tracks, and we got to put it back on the tracks. Okay, so if you write down what you do every hour of the day, you're going to find massive holes where you're like, Jesus, what did I do from 2 to 3 today? I don't even remember. Or I spent the entire hour on one phone call. Or, so you're going to find and identify pockets of time where you're going to be able to be more efficient with your time. But do that, and I'll tell you what, if you do that with your team, you're going to have a better week than you had last week, because your team is going to be thinking all day and all week, God, I got to write something down in this box. I better be doing some work. Okay. So like they're going to be more focused, and that's really important. We do a lot of, we can get caught in a trap of doing a lot of what I call fake work that does not add to your pipeline, work that's facing your next policy or your next premium. So we could sit all day in front of the computer. We could make an ad, we could send out a bunch of emails, we could make a bunch of phone calls, but it's not getting you your 4 quotes a day. So we've all gone home after a long day of work, exhausted. We've put effort in, but like you didn't write a policy and you didn't get a quote. And I would ask you to look back and like, what did you do today? And that's a question I've asked producers. Okay. If they have a couple of days where they haven't written anything, I'll bring them in. I'll be like, hey, what'd you do yesterday? You know, because you didn't get any quotes, you didn't write any policies. Like you got accountability is really important. So how we manage our time is crucial. I would tell you, your producers, what they should be doing every day should be quoting, calling, selling. Like that's it. Get me 4 quotes a day. But it's up to us as agency owners to know what our team is doing. We can't blindly trust them until they earn that right. Okay. And once they hit the premium that you want them to be hitting, you can really start lengthening that leash. I've had producers come and go as they please because they're hitting the number that I want them to hit. I don't care what they do with their time. If they're writing 30,000 in premium every month and that's the number that I want them to hit, I don't have to manage them. Okay. And that's the promise that I make them. Like, if you hit this number every month, I won't manage you. And that's what everybody wants. I don't want to have to manage them, and they don't want to have to be managed. Let's figure out how to make that happen.
Yep. I've got 2 guys that are in that position right now, and they
It's the best. Yeah.
love it. They
Yeah.
love it. I don't ask them where they are, what they're doing, and I just know that they're going to hit their numbers.
Yeah. That's got to be earned. Right. And so,
Yeah, absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
that's a tribute to you, man. Like, you brought them in. I'm sure you trained them. I'm sure you created good habits for them, and you've got good systems for them. And doesn't work for everybody. This job is hard. Let's be clear, okay?
Yeah.
Selling insurance is hard. It is. It's not sexy. It's not glamorous, depending on how you do it. If you got people on the phone all day, it's hard work, okay? And it's not for everybody. Okay, so if you have someone that's getting it done, take care of them. Like,
Oh
really
yeah.
take care of
Hold
them.
on to them. Hold on
Yeah.
to them because believe me, there's an agent out there that is hungry to get them on their team.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
And with that, any final thoughts?
No, man, if you get me going, I'll just keep going. So like
We can easily talk about
I
this for
will
3, 4 hours.
I know. I love talking shop. So
Yeah, me too,
this
man.
is good. I appreciate you having me on. These are some really important things, foundational things that we've talked about today that are really important for any agency owner. Like, I don't want to teach people how to sell insurance. I don't want to teach people how to be an insurance agent. I want to teach people how to run a business. And like, that's what I try and help agents do.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So
Yeah.
we've got a few people that are still on the calls. A few people have jumped off. If there's anybody on here that has any questions for us, please unmute yourself. Come on up. But if nobody wants to come up, um, that's okay too. We are going to keep doing these webinars. And Matt, I think we got to bring you back because we touched on almost everything, but we left a few things out that we could really deep dive and talk
Yeah,
more
man.
about.
I'll,
And I
I'll
know
be
that
here.
we're going to get some questions about mortgage lenders. That I tell people that that should be your number one goal.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're a new agent and you can afford to have a producer, feed him the data leads and go out and make relationships.
Hmm.
Because if you get, I at one point had 30 of them during COVID.
Yeah.
We never not wrote business. We
Yeah.
wrote a ton of business during COVID, after COVID, but of course the market started to open back up and stuff like that, and relationships change over the years. I still have a core 20 that send us business all the time
Good
because
for
we know
you.
we're going to take care of the client. I don't give them leads anymore. Okay. It's just the relationship is there now.
Yeah.
I will pop in, I will say hello from time to time. I will call if I can't get there, say what's up, how's it going? Are we doing anything that we can do better for you? Okay.
Right.
Those are the relationships that are so important in this industry. And once you learn that those guys are worth their weight in gold, you're really going to go out and make it happen.
Yeah. They're the best.
Yeah, man. I don't think anybody's going to ask us any questions, so I'm going to stop the recording. And I thank everybody for joining us today, Matt. Thanks again. We're
Of
definitely going to bring
course.
you back on, man.
Thanks for having me, man. It was fun.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yep.